With the final swing of Ryen's sword, the villager who had tormented him for over half a year dissolved into a wisp of green smoke, his resentment vanishing into the air. Ryen sheathed his wooden sword and spat on the ground. Serving me dirt for half a year, and still acting all high and mighty in a village without iron golems. Who do you think you are? The bitterness of 6 months evaporated in an instant, and Ryen felt an overwhelming sense of joy surge from the depths of his soul. He had made sure this village lacked iron golems beforehand. If it had one, he really wouldn't have dared stay here. Though having an iron golem meant no worries about zombies or skeletons, but as the Great Steve, how could he not deal with the villagers? Ryen and the villagers were bound to clash over the use of houses and beds eventually. And if he killed a villager out of anger, he wouldn't stand a chance against the punch of an iron golem. But now, having dealt with this unfortunate villager, Ryen could finally focus on crafting his own iron golem. With an iron golem around, he could sleep in peace. He casually looted some carrots and potatoes from the nearby farm, planting seeds in return. The whole process was oddly satisfying. Clearly, Ryen had a lot of experience with this kind of stealing crops activity. After finishing, Ryen turned to look at Keqing and Ganyu, who were still staring at him in a daze. Ryen waved his hand, grinning. "You're here? Come on, follow me. Let's build a house." Keqing and Ganyu exchanged a glance, then stood back to back, one holding a bow and the other a sword, vigilantly eyeing the remaining villagers. "Ryen, even if you had a grudge, you can't be this reckless." Ganyu didn't reprimand Ryen for his casual attitude toward killing. She was more worried. "You killed someone in their own turf. What if the rest of the villagers attack us? And we still need to talk to the village chief about buying land. This is bound to make enemies, right?" Seeing Ganyu's frustrated expression, Ryen couldn't help but laugh. He pointed to the villagers around them, who hadn't shown any change in expression. "These, don't think of them as people. Their intelligence is so low, they don't even qualify as sentient beings. It's one of the strange things about this world. I've said it before, this is a primitive world." As for the land purchase, Ryen chuckled, making a grand sweeping motion with his hand, pointing to the ground. "Look around. Where do you want to build? Just pick a spot. This is my world." Keqing and Ganyu exchanged another wary glance, then cautiously asked, "So, there's really no problem?" Seeing Keqing's uncertainty, Ryen laughed and casually drew his wooden sword, bringing it near a nearby villager's neck. The villager, however, didn't react at all, as though lost in their own little world. Looking around, Keqing and Ganyu realized that all the villagers were wandering aimlessly, as if on autopilot, simply moving about the village. Now, they understood this world truly belonged to Ryen. For some reason, Keqing let out a sigh of relief. "This works too. If we're clearing land, no one will stop us." "Ryen, can you allocate a plot of land for me? I want to try building a city based on the principles of the geocentric foundation." Ryen sheathed his sword and turned, signaling Keqing and Ganyu to follow. "Pick any spot you want to practice, but this world is dangerous. Don't wander too far from me at first. Your strength might not be enough here. Let's go and check out our future home." The village was small, but some of the houses were actually quite decent. The house of the villager Ryen had just slain. If it were in Teyvat, it would have been a mansion fit for a village chief. After all, it was the only house in the village with a bookshelf on the second floor. It would be perfect for setting up an enchantment table or something similar. Of course, as a seasoned block world explorer, Ryen's first thought after taking over this house was to dig an artificial mine beneath it and create a secret underground vault. Then he'd build an aerial platform, complete with a stone generator, monster spawner tower, and automatic mining machines. He'd even capture the villagers to create an automated iron farm. Thinking about all the tasks ahead, Ryen realized he had a lot of work to do. But for now, the top priority was to claim a bed first. With that, Ryen led Keqing and Ganyu deeper into the village. The two gradually began to understand the oddities Ryen had mentioned about this world. Aside from the picturesque scenery, the villagers were blocks, the houses were blocks, the trees were blocks, even the pigs, cows, and chickens were blocks. Even more absurdly, killing the animals here would cause them to drop high-quality meat. And after Kaching waited, she discovered there was plenty of it, at least enough to make her hands feel a bit heavy. This was yet another major discovery. At the very least, the meat supply for the people of Liyue could be easily resolved once and for all. The village was small, and aside from the 5 minutes wasted on killing chickens, it only took another 2 minutes to reach the house that originally belonged to the villager and was now Ryen's. It was the only house in the village that wasn't perfectly square. At least it had a pointed roof, constructed entirely of wood. It was clear that it wasn't fireproof. Ryen had also warned not to light any fires in the house. Within 3 minutes, everything would be gone. Pushing open the wooden door, Ryen led Kaching and Ganyu inside. The first thing that caught their eye was a large table with 4 chairs. Well, they were square-shaped. There were several torches mounted on the walls, but strangely, these torches emitted both light and heat without setting anything on fire. Even though they were stuck to the walls, they didn't ignite them. And even when Ganyu used ice elements to cover them, the torches fell down, but once held, they reignited. Torches that never go out and don't consume materials. Kaching's expression became serious. Such a thing actually exists? This is incredibly important. We must figure out how to make this. A torch that never consumed wood and couldn't be extinguished could do so much. Ryen chuckled. This was just a torch, but once they got their hands on redstone torches, wouldn't it just blow their minds? Not to mention the various mods that could be unlocked later. Speed torches, band torches. In Teyvat, such things would be entirely out of the ordinary. In simple terms, it was a technology system that defied Newtonian mechanics. Ryen, there's also a workbench here. Kaching curiously touched the nearby workbench. Next to it was an anvil. This was one of the reasons Ryen had chosen this room. It was rich, extremely rich. He couldn't find 4 pieces of iron in the entire village, but this wealthy household had an anvil. Even for Ryen, who now had Steve's physical traits, having an anvil around saved him a lot of time. The iron he mined could now be used to craft tools and armor. In the game, when you mined iron, the first thing you do is craft tools, but if you were in the Minecraft world yourself, survival was the priority. Ryen didn't want to test whether he could respawn in his bed. In his opinion, this world was more like hardcore mode. One life to clear it all. Kaching Ganyu, stop looking around and come up here. Ryen had somehow made it to the 2nd floor. There were plenty of bookshelves on the walls, but the books inside couldn't be taken out. Apart from that, there was a small chest and a bed, simple, very simple. Even Ganyu, when she lived in the Luyan estate, had more furniture than this. Kaching and Ganyu quickly climbed the stairs. This floor looked a bit more normal, though, of course, aside from the never-dying torches on the walls. Ryen, where do we start exploring? Kaching clenched her fist in excitement. This world is too amazing. I need to understand it a bit better first. Then I'll know how to plan for the future. Ryen smiled and pointed at the only bed. We'll